Missionary Church had opened up. They were doing an ice cream social thing, and me and my brother siblings, we went to it. I liked the church. The youth leader there that was there, attending there, she lived right down the street, her and her husband did. And they had a son about my age. We became friends. And I would go down there a lot. But Thursday nights we would have, youth group meetings down there at their house. Got to learn about God, and they'd take us places. They're taking us to a DC Talk concert, Carmen concert. I remember going to see Dawson McAllister conference, where they talked about the walk with Christ to the cross. And I remember listening to that story and going to that guidebook. And Dawson detailed it out so much to where anyone could understand. He talked about Judas and what his intentions were and the betrayal that he did and why he did it and stuff. He talked about Jesus and how he knew that things were going on. And he talked about the experience and the things that Jesus went through for us. Detailed every bit out from the garden, where he bled and sweat blood. Peter cutting the dude's ear off, got Jesus for healing. To all the courts and the sham trials that was done. To him being right there on that cross, unrecognizable to the human eye as even a person. I learned all this when I was young. And I wanted to know more. How could someone love me that much? And not just me, but all of us. But he loved me that much that he did that for me. I wanted to know why. Of course, I studied and read more and started going to church more and stuff. It was amazing. I had a family. I had God in my life and stuff. And I learned more and more and more. And I took all the things that I was told to heart. The things we're told, treat others the way you want to be treated. Be kind. Show love, mercy. Turn the other cheek. I remember reading Matthew 25, starting in verse 33, I think it was, where he talks about the sheep on his right, goats on his left. And he tells the sheep, he says, go into the kingdom of heaven. He says, for I was hungry and you gave me food. I was thirsty and you gave me drink. I was naked and you clothed me. I was sick and in prison and you visited me. And they looked at Jesus and they said, when have we ever seen this? Jesus said, what you've done to the least of your brethren, you've done unto me. And I heard that and I listened to it and I thought, but what he's saying is every single one of us, if we want to be Christ-like, we have to treat others the way Christ treated others. And every single person that comes up to my door that needs help, Jesus sent them there, God sent them there to test me to see if I would help them, and that's Jesus. So anyway, I started living my life as I got older even, and even got married, wanting to help other people, no matter what I had to do. Even if it was just a ride to the grocery store, or if I could help them out with some whatever the need was, I would do it. Even opening up my house and letting them stay in my home. And I said it was for God and because it was the right thing to do, but it became more about just the fact that I could do that I was able to help. And it made me feel good. And it was great that I was doing that, of course it was, but I needed to give them more than just my home, food in their belly. I needed to give them spiritual nourishment too. I needed to help them with that, and so because I wasn't listening to all the things God was telling me, saying you need to stop, you need to study the Word more, you need to go back to church, you need to do this, you need to do that. I was like, I got this. I'm helping people. I'm doing what I need to do, I believe in you, and I'm doing what you asked me to do, I was like, the Bible's all about love, and that's what I'm doing. I'm showing love. And I had the beginning but I didn't have it all. There was so much more I needed to learn, so much more I needed to study. God's worked amazing things in my life, all of my life, really has. I don't know where I'd be if it hadn't been for God and hadn't been for the people God's put in my life. I don't know where I'd be if Jesus, God's Son, God Himself, hadn't decided that we were worth saving. I mean, He saw what we needed to do. He even told us, He gave us the Ten Commandments, what we needed to do. But He also saw that the flesh is weak. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. He saw that. And He's found a solution, which is this, to come down in the flesh, show us how to live, teach us how to live, and then to become that sacrifice for us, to take our sins on, to pay that debt that we owed. And He had to pay it because there was no way for us to pay it. The purpose sacrifice, and it didn't come at an easy price at all. And so I just wanted to learn more anyway on God stopped me in my tracks. And we'll get to that in another thing about how He stopped me in my tracks and yelled at me. But I told you I'd try to leave these around 15, 20 minutes or whatever. This is the first one of the series. I'll probably end this and restart if you want to come back and watch. And if not, they'll be on my page and you can watch them at your own leisure, I guess. So please subscribe if you're not subscribed already. Leave me some comments. Give me some likes, some views and stuff, and tell me what you think. I hope that something I say in my videos, my shorts, or just my Let's Talk series or whatever, I hope that it maybe answers some questions for you. Maybe it just opens the mind and you go, wow, I never thought of it that way. But you know what? I think in this series, not only am I going to tell you about the things in my life and how God's worked in it, and the next part of this series is going to be my marriage, how God has worked in my marriage some, and how all that's come about. That's going to be the next episode, which will be here shortly. But or maybe it'll be about the accident. Either way, I'm going to do another. There'll be a bunch of them, hopefully. And then I'll do a series on life experiences, funny things that's happened in life and whatever, you know. I also want to talk about why we treat each other the way we do. So I hope you decide to give me a shot. Well, God bless you and thank you for listening. And I'll see you on episode 2, hopefully.